Hello, it's Erica of Airbar Arts. We're here for Sunday demo, but on Monday, because on Sunday I was still driving back from camping in the south of Iowa, or more southerly Iowa than I am in. So one of the things I did while I was on my trip was work on this. You can see I'm up to here with the weaving, and I've advanced the warp a little bit, but I didn't get around to hem stitching because the first time I could have done it right at the beginning, it was super, super windy. And this 5/2 cotton is so light that like my shuttle was blowing around. So I didn't feel like that was, and it was kind of cold. So I can't do this with gloves on. And then the second time I could have done it, I didn't really have enough time. I was just trying to quickly weave up as far as I could on here before I had to go and meet a friend for coffee. So, but before I advance the warp any further, I have to get the hem stitching done. So what I'm actually doing right now, so first of all, this is the fiber, ignore this over here. There's Brigade, there's all my bedding from the trip. This is, let me see if I can even see where I put the end. There we go. This is the yarn I set aside for the hem stitching. And I made a little knot that wasn't supposed to be a problem. We'll see what happens. Let's see if I can get it through here. I got this one stubborn piece. Don't want to split anything. Let's see if that worked. Got something looped on something. Okay, let's see what, oh, I think I went through something. Okay, I'm just going to step off camera here for a quick second and just keep untwisting things and seeing if I can do this without knotting it. Okay, there we go. Okay, so traditionally when you hem stitch, you're supposed to save about 3 to 4 links. 4 is safer, of course. Let's see if I actually did that, because I didn't remember 4, I remembered 3. So there's 1, there's 2, there's 3, oh, there's 4. It looks like I probably did closer to 5. So we do have enough. Okay. So we're going to thread the needle, but we're actually not going to start hem stitching for a second. Of course, color is very close to flesh tone on me. So getting it through the needle can be a problem. There we go. Okay. So I've got it through the eye of the needle. And we'll just sort of leave everything over here. Okay. So obviously when you do both the bottom and the top, it's a different approach because you're going to be going up where at the end of the project you'll be coming down. And so what I'm going to do is I've got this waste yarn here, this sort of brown, I think it's Lamb's Pride. And so what I'm actually going to do is, of course, I'm on a black table, which is not ideal. Okay? But trying not to grab this, I'm actually going in and pushing the waste yarn down so I can get in there and make my little bundles with the hem stitch. Now, if I counted correctly, I have 96 threads. There's a good chance I counted incorrectly, but we're going with 96. Which means I could do bundles of 4. That is 24 bundles of 4. Since 25 would make 100. So I'm just going to keep pushing that down. The lighting here is not great. Old eyes and all of that. Okay, we'll also see how long my battery does. when I did this last week, or maybe it was like when I did the WAFA demo, half an hour got me 50% of my battery left. So we will see how this goes. I'm going to have to probably give in and get a new phone. I don't want to. Okay, so got our needle threaded. Okay, and also I want to get rid of this end of the waste yarn. Put that back over here. I also want to see, you're not going to be able to see that from the camera. But when I started, okay, because you're going, this is a plain weave over, under, it's a rigid head of loom. This, where it's attached here, it comes out from under, which means then I will go over to start this. So this is where I get to count. I'm going to be doing this in segments of 4. I really should have taken the ring light out. But I'm going to go 1. I'm just trying to see if that's a 4 or not. So let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1, 2. Oh, God. Bifocals. Gotta love them. 1, 2, 3, 4. And it should be all, so I'm going to go between the 4th and the 5th warp thread there. I'm going to untangle this because everything's going to get tangled. Okay. And I'm going to come out here, pull it taut, make it nice and bundle. And I think the way I'm going to do this, because this is different from the way I learned, because essentially I'm going to want to go down several picks, so each little line is called a pick. Yeah, let's go down, let's see, 1, 2, 3 maybe? So I've gone 3 picks here, coming up like that. Hang on, something's gotten caught. There we go. Up like that. Okay. And don't want to pull it too taut because you make it a hole, but you want it to sort of stay as a bundle. Okay. Pull it like that. It pulls that other. Okay. And that means I can make sure I'm doing this right. They're really hard to see where that bundle is. 1, 2, 3, 4. I can sort of see the 4 on my needle there, which is better than the black background. I'm actually thinking I want to do a full circle there. Okay. And this first one's going to be for me because I already made a mistake. Maybe I could point it out on camera. Up here in this section right here, I have a float that shouldn't be there. So it is what it is. 1, 2, oh God, this is hard. 1, 2, 3, 4. So yeah, so I didn't do as much fiber arts as I had planned. I got some spinning done. I'll post about that later. I mainly went down there because there was a meeting of people own a certain type of camper that I'm interested in getting at some point, not now, but at some point in the future. And they're made in Florida, and there's not like a dealer around here. And so this was like an opportunity to get to go see what they're like and see if I actually like could use one. I mean, if it's the size I like. Yeah, I kind of like this doubleness. I like this. I have to remember at the top to do it double as well. Okay, 1, 2, 3, there we go. And it was great. They were very friendly. I got to make some new friends, and they invited me to their campfire. So it was a lot of fun. It was down in Pella. I didn't post where I was while I was there, just for safety's sake. I do when I do big festivals, because you all know where I am, and there's lots of people around and all that. But I was traveling by myself, and I wasn't with other festival people, so I didn't post where I was, just to be safe. I don't know if you can see sort of the holes popping up there. So yeah, so it was a lot of fun, and if I can get the money together, I'm thinking, in the next year or two, I'd like to get one of these campers. They're called Runaways. They're micro campers. Like, they're essentially a box on wheels that you decide how you want to set it up. I really want to make longer. I just have to remember I'm doing the smaller steps. I'm hoping I have enough yarn to make it all the way across, because I'm actually double looping, because I like the way that looks. And what was really great, so they make I think 5 models. Maybe they make 6 models. They make 6 models. There's sort of 3. There's sort of 2 lines. There's your basic one, and then there's sort of your off-roading adventure one. And I'm not interested in the off-roading adventure one. Those are more expensive. And they have these extra suspension things, so that like you can like literally take them off road. And 1, 2, is that 4? That's 4. Okay. And I'm not, that's not my sort of thing. I'm not looking to do that kind of stuff. And so the 3 models that they make that were of the kind I was interested in, there were enough people showed up. There weren't a ton of people there, but there was at least one of each model. Mostly people had the middle model, which is like probably my guess would be their bestseller. But there were 2 people. Well, there was one person with the larger model, which I knew wasn't something I would be interested in, but I really wanted to see it because it was adorable and cute. And if I had a tow vehicle that could pull more weight. That's the thing about these campers, is they're designed to be towed by everyday vehicles. There's the smallest version. There's somebody who tows it with a Harley trike, and there's somebody else who tows it with a smart car. I think that's only 3. Hang on, get 4 on there. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I got to look at the bigger one, and that guy he'd just gotten back he'd been up in Denali, and I was just, he'd been like living on the road in this 6x8 box that you could stand up in. Most of them you can't stand up in. And so, check that. I think I got 2 in there. Yes, okay. And so, and then there were 2 of the smallest one, which is the one I'm interested in. Because it would be with a full cargo on the van. 1, 2, 3, 4. I could still pull this thing and have a place to sleep without having to get everything out of the van and set up everything and all of that. So, I don't know. I guess we'll probably have enough here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, hem stitching is a little tedious. I'm not even sure how much of this is showing up on camera, but I think that's 3. I'm always catching things like on the edges of looms. So the Dharma order has not arrived yet. Initially it was supposed to come this morning, like between like 9:30 and 1:30. And then I went and checked and it said something like a request for a delivery change was made. I'm like, I didn't make that. Who made the change in delivery? Perhaps it was the driver. I don't know. So supposedly it's supposed to get here by 5. We will see what happens. I've sort of built my schedule for the week around it being here so I can like dye. So I'm not trying to pull that, all-nighter at the dye lab. Don't want to do that again. That's close enough to 3. It's mine. If I make a mistake, I make a mistake. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oopsie, got it caught again. I also took a couple of walks. So the campgrounds there is a U.S. Army Corps of Engineers park, and just got some. It's on a Lake Red River. No, Red Rock. Lake Red Rock. And they had just recently in the last. That's one of the reasons they go to this particular one. Is about 4 years ago they knocked down the old bathrooms and showers and built these new ones. And they were really nice. They were super clean. I met the cleaning staff on a few days. And they are, it's like a block and it's 6 individual like little suites. Each one, and there's a handicap accessible one. And each one has 1, 2, 3, 4. A toilet and a sink and a shower. In each individual locking room, and there were so many hooks that you could hang things on. That's why I hate you go in and there's like one hook, and it's like I need a place for my towel and my clothes. And it was such built in that it was like, here's the shower in this one section, the shower sort of here, and there's a wall, so there's like no like slimy shower curtain to deal with. So that was really, really nice, and they were also heated, which was kind of nice because it got down to 42 degrees. I am so thankful. I packed my fleece. I packed a wool blanket. I packed a fleece throw, and then my new fuzzy blanket that I got in Fargo. So I was very nice and warm and toasty in the van. We're getting near the end here. Hopefully the battery won't die on us. I have the hardest, as you can see, this is stone, what they call stone wash or variegated. So sometimes it's a little hard to see how many picks I am dealing with here. 1, 2, 3. But definitely counting the warp threads on the silver needle helps, at least in terms of creating my bundles of 4. Of course, when we get to the end, we'll see if 4 was the correct number to pick. And what I found when you do this, you get, this is the whole, the edge of the fabric, but I'm getting a second set of holes where the hem stitching is going or coming up. And that's just something that happens. So, okay, that's that one. 1, 2, 3, I think that's 4. 2, 3, 4, yes. Gives it a nice finished edge. Big truck. Is that the FedEx truck? I don't know. Heloise is downstairs. She will greet any driver who comes in with a box. Not that she's not a box kitty. She doesn't like boxes. 1, 2. Okay, so I'm trying to see how many I have here. I'm just gonna try and count them on here because I think I miscounted. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think I just got 5 stitches left. So we're just gonna do a bundle of 5, I guess. And I will. Yeah, we're doing a bundle of 5. Okay. Now, obviously, I can't go down there, right? So what I'm gonna do is see if I can do this right. Remember how to do this. I may go around again. I'm actually going to pull that up a little bit. And then I've held this loop here, and then I'm going to come up, make a little notch, like that. And for good measure, I'll probably do it again. And then I can weave this in, and I'm probably just going to go up the selvage here. My selvage is, I don't know if you can see on this edge at all, sort of under the comments. It's a little, my selvage is much neater on this side. This side, it's a little more variegated. I got better as I went along, but as I said, this is for me, so I'm just going to try and work this up through some of these loops like that. So that way it's woven in. I don't have to deal with it. I had started, because sometimes when I weave, I will take like the live edge and put it in here. I did that here and I didn't like the result very much. So I'm leaving these out to weave in at the end. And as I work, I'll decide which way I like better. So that's up like that. Leave that there for a quick second. My little pouch that a crafter gave me at a show I was at because I made her a couple of cups of tea. And so she came over and gave me a little pouch. Okay, so we got that. Eventually I will put that, this is where I keep my little needles and all that. But that is now done. So that means I can advance the warp. So this is what I have left on here. It's mainly going to be this with, I got one stripe here. I may do another stripe. So essentially what happened was I got up to here, or actually a little further. I saw this little float here, which once again, you probably can't see, but I can see it. And at some point I may do that as a design element, but that was not planned here. And so I essentially was pulling stuff out. So I was like trying to, go backwards. And I don't know if my tension was too loose, but I kept catching this and I kept slipping through, and I was just making it worse. So it was like coming up over here, and it was over here, and it was just a mess. So I like pulled out the mess I made and just said, I'm not going to go any further. I'm not coming back to here. That's the way it is. Okay. But I thought I'd show you advancing the warp on this, or at least how I am advancing the warp. And then I'll probably have to end it after that because I may run out of battery. Okay, so there are over here, they're these called, I think they call them pawls. Okay, there's like little break things here, and then let's put some back here. There's one back here as well. Okay, and so what I'm going to do is, and you can see this is on a little stand. It's a little hard to see because it's black on black, but okay. So what's going to happen is I'm going to loosen this one. Oh, and this is in neutral. Let me pull this forward just a little bit. Okay. So this is neutral. This is raising it. And then lowering it. So when it's down below, it's on my left. When it's raised, it's on my right. That's how I'm passing the shuttle through. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my thumb back here, and I'm going to, see, that won't pull up like that. I have to actually, and this will be off camera, unfortunately. Maybe I can, I'm afraid to move you because it might collapse. Essentially, I need to tighten it just a little bit to loosen up the pawl or the brake. And so it's off the brake right now, so I can go like this. I think it's grabbed again. Yes, it has. Okay. Yeah. Come on. What did you do? Ah. Okay. So that one's loose. This one, what did I do to it? What did I do? There we go. Okay, so I have totally loosened it up. It's right here in my hand. And I will hold that off here while I advance. Actually, I'll just lay it right there. Okay, so I can advance this forward. And what that's doing is it is curling around the front beam. You can see where it's tied on down there. Okay. And so I'm trying to get this. I don't want to go way down here because I still need to be able to do that. Let me just tighten that a little more. Probably, let's leave it right about there. And then I'm going to take the brake that I took off in the back and put it back down. And then I'll tighten it here so that it's a pretty, I'm going to tighten it a little more. Can you see how it sort of flutters across? I think I can get one more. Yeah, that's probably good there. Yeah. And now I can keep weaving again. Okay. So that was hem stitching and advancing the warp on my new Presto, which still doesn't have a name, but will at some point. Okay. I'm working a little slowly today, but if you've got a commission for me this summer before North Dakota, you should be hearing from me in the next day or two, because those are done. The ones from North Dakota onwards, which includes Michigan, those items are in the Dharma order that is arriving hopefully today. So we will see what happens. Okay? So thank you very much for tuning in. I will be posting this video up on YouTube as well. Okay? So take care and enjoy your week.